This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow! Styles and selections vary by location.
This is Optimal Finance Daily. Where do I invest after maxing out retirement accounts? By Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. Today's question comes from Jay. He asks, quote, "Thanks for the informative content you've generated. It's some of the soundest, easily digestible out there, and it's definitely had an impact on my life. I've been reading up on retirement for a couple of years now, roughly when I went into the workforce after college. I'm in my late 20s, and currently I make just shy of the $118,000 per year IRA income contribution cap. I just recently started to fully fund my 401k for a single person per year. I contribute $18,000 per year in a target date fund currently valued at $30,000. And I also fully fund my Roth IRA. I contribute $5,500 per year in 2 index funds, one total market stock, one total market bond, ratio of 70-30%, valued at $20,000. It's taken some time to get to this point, but I feel happy and lucky I've been able to have enough to fund my accounts and have enough money to cover all of my monthly expenses. It's something I definitely don't take for granted. So now I've checked most boxes you find online about investing. My question is, now what? What should I invest in if I have some more expendable income and I want to accelerate my retirement? Should I open another taxable independent retirement account? A house? Annuities? Also, what do I do with my Roth IRA once I can't legally contribute to it because I've passed the income requirement, which I'm expecting will happen later in this new year? Do I just stop contributing to it and hope it'll grow with time? Should I look into converting it back into a traditional IRA, which I understand doesn't have income limits to contribute? And would that be a tax-savvy thing to do since I've already paid taxes in my Roth? There doesn't seem to be a lot of advice out there for once you fulfill the main 2 requirements every investing avenue says you should be doing. So I'm looking forward to hearing your take on it, since I'm sure you came across this scenario in funding your nest egg past the $1 million mark in your 30s, end quote. Most people who want to get rich fast think they need to do more, but getting rich fast isn't about doing more, it's about risk. That's what investing is. You get rewarded for exposure to risk. So I tell the people asking how to get rich fast to spend each day improving themselves, becoming a tiny bit better than they were yesterday. Because when you learn something or apply knowledge and do that every single day throughout your life, most people get what they deserve. Getting rich fast takes time. The truth is, nobody wants to hear that. Everyone wants a shortcut, and so they lose all their money chasing fast money. Anyways, you're not one of those people, and so generally speaking, you should invest like this. Number 1, enough to get any employer match in pre-tax retirement accounts. Number 2, fund post-tax retirement accounts to the maximum. Number 3, back to number 1 for the maximum. Number 4, fund taxable accounts. And number 5, non-deductible post-tax account. This won't work for everyone because everyone's situation and goals are different. That said, your approach is solid, maxing out pre- and post-tax retirement accounts, taking advantage of current and future tax benefits. It's likely your next step is a taxable account. And once your modified adjusted gross income exceeds the contribution limit for a Roth, I don't think it makes sense to convert the existing Roth to a traditional IRA. If you don't have other non-Roth IRA accounts, what makes sense is a backdoor Roth. You make a regular contribution to a traditional IRA, and as soon as it posts, convert the money from traditional to Roth. You'll pay tax on the difference between the original contribution and the converted value, which in most cases will be zero. This is how to get around the income limit. Doing this on your own might seem complicated, but it's only complicated once. Remember, become a tiny bit better than you were yesterday. Since you asked, maybe it would be helpful to share what I've done. I have 2 accounts, 401k and taxable, because simpler solutions are often better solutions. When I worked in corporate America, I contributed enough to the retirement account to get the company match, maybe a little more, but never maxed it out. The lion's share of money went to a taxable account. So when I quit, I had 25% in retirement and 75% in taxable. I'm withdrawing from the taxable account, and because I live a lightweight life with hardly any possessions or big expenses, I don't pay federal capital gains tax. Meanwhile, the retirement account is sitting there compounding for the next 25 years or so. I could convert it to a Roth little by little to save on taxes decades from now, but that complicates things. Anyways, what I'm trying to show you is that there's no cookie cutter approach to investing. It depends on your situation and goals. And some people like the idea of diversifying into other investments like real estate, but won't enjoy the actual work of collecting rent, finding tenants, fixing toilets, etc. If property interests you, then try it, but I think your main focus should be the market. Why? You've picked sensible investments, and so I can tell you have an interest. And that's the very first step in being a successful investor, having an interest. You just listened to the post titled, "Where Do I Invest After Maxing Out Retirement Accounts?" by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Does this sound familiar? You're in line at checkout, cart full of items, your toddler is screaming for a treat, and you left your wallet in the car. Or was it at home? No need to panic. With your iPhone in hand, you can tap to pay using Apple Card with Apple Pay, and you'll earn 2% daily cash back when you do. So if your credit card isn't Apple Card, maybe it should be. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
The approach recommended here definitely mirrors what I did for my own investments. After fully funding all of my retirement vehicles, which for me totaled about $29,000 across my 401k, Roth IRA, and HSA, I put anything extra into my after-tax brokerage. After a few years of doing this, I decided that I felt comfortable with even more risk than my 100% stock asset allocation. I decided to invest in my own business. But it took me years of getting comfortable with investing before I was ready to take on riskier and more labor-intensive forms of investing. Chris makes a great point here. There is no way to get rich quick. You can take on more risk to try to expedite returns, but we shouldn't risk our retirement for that. Slow and steady wins the race, and the single most important factor for winning in stock market investing is time in the market. I took on a considerable amount of risk when investing in my own business. While I have every reason to believe it will pay off in the long run, there's no way to know that. But I also didn't take on any debt. I have no other investors in my business, and I didn't sell any investments to fund it. The money I invested is what I would have put in my after-tax brokerage back in 2019. Because I know my retirement is secure from what I've invested in my tax-advantaged accounts, I was able to place a big bet on myself. And that will do it for another edition of Optimal Finance Daily. Have a great day. Thank you for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more, where your optimal life awaits.